So Module 3, Lesson 3.1, Security Guard Forces. It is a group of 4 selected men trained or grouped into functional unit for the purpose of protecting operational processes from those disruption which would impede efficiency or halt operation at a particular plant. So RA 547 provided the organization and management of security guard forcing designed for a specific organization and purpose. The 3 security guard forces are the following. So, the first is Private Security Agency. The PSA refers to any person, association, partnership, firm, or private corporation who contacts, recruits, trains, furnishes, or posts any security guards to do its function or solicit individual, business firms, or private, public or government-owned or controlled corporation to engage its service or those of his security guards. Number 2 is the Company Security Force or the CSF. Is a security force maintained and operated by any private company or corporation for its own security requirement only. Number 3 is the Government Security Unit, the GSU. Is a security unit maintained and operated by any government entity other than military and police, which is established and maintained for the purpose of securing the office or compound. So, the Philippine Association of Detective and Protective Agency Operators Incorporations or PADPAO. This is the National Association of all licensed security agencies and company security forces. This was established as early as 1958 purposely for its self-regulation of all security agencies. So the license to operate or LTO, it is the document issued by the CPNP or his duly authorized representative authorizing person to engage in the occupation, calling, or employment as security guards or detectives. So application of license. New applicants for PSA license shall obtain minimum capitalization of 1 million pesos and a minimum bank deposit of 500,000 pesos. So, where to file? Filing to the office of the CPNP through the CPNP SOCIA or SAGSD using form of SGAD form 0194 and SGAD form 0294 respectively. Application form for license to operate application shall contain full name of the applicant, his age, civil status, residence and location of his business. In case of corporation, association, or partnership, copies of the following shall be appended. Certificate of registration with the SEC and by laws and article of incorporation. Endorsement of application. It shall be endorsed by the CSF district offices found in their respective regions for and in the name of the regional director. So number 5 is the license to operate. It shall be a requirement prior to engage the occupation, calling, or employment or engage in the business of PSA or PDA. 6 is graduated scale of license to operate. The following graduated scale shall be approved by the CPNP or his duly authorized representative. A PSAs with temporary LTO having 200 or more but not exceeding 1,000 shall be issued to regular LTO for 2 years. New PSA shall be issued a temporary LTO good for 1 year. PSAs with temporary LTO having posted 100 guards or more less than 200 shall be expiration of such LTO shall be issued an extension periods of 6 months. However, upon the expiration of the extension period, no extension shall be granted unless PSA shall submit certification for additional 50 guards posted for 150 guards total. So PSA with temporary LTOs upon expiration still fail with a 200 guards requirement shall be granted for 6 months period. However, failure to comply shall serve a basis for the issuance of cease to operate order. LTO of PSA with less than 100 guards after 1 year shall not be renewed. PSAs with cancelled revoked LTO shall cease to operate and within 7 days after having a duly notified of such cease to operate in order shall immediately deposit its all firearms with the FEO or Fed or the nearest CSFD office for eventual turnover. So organization and management. Who may organize and maintain the PSAs and private detective agency? So any Filipino citizen or corporation, association, partnership 100% owned and controlled by Filipino citizens. Number two is basic requirement of an operator or managed agency. A Filipino, so these are the basic requirements for an operator. So one is first is a Filipino, at least 25 years old, college graduate, a commissioned officer in an active service, or a retired AFP or PNP graduate graduated and taking course in a concept and methods, must have an adequate training or experience in a security business, good moral, character not having been convicted of any crime involving moral turpitude and not suffering any following disqualification, dishonorably discharged for AFP, PNP, or separated for cause from any government entity or government-owned control corporation. So being physically unfit, addicted to use of narcotics and prohibited drugs and or substance, so habitual drunkard and alcoholic, dummy of any foreigner, and last is elective appointive government official and employees who may be called upon the account of function in their respective office in the implementation of the enforcement provision of 5.4 Republic Act 5487 and any person related such government employees by affinity, consanguinity, and the third civil service shall not be held in any interest. So, organizational structure of PSA, PSAS, CFFS, and GSUS. PSA shall conform with the organizational structure, personnel, equipment, training, and clothing as provided for in RA 5485 as amended and shall comply with the following. 100 guards shall be contracted during the first year of operational, minimum of 200 guards for succeeding year. CFFS shall be organized and conform substantially to the organizational structure prescribed for private security agencies. So, GSUS shall be organized to conform with the organizational structure of the said government but not contrary to the organizational structure prescribed for GSUS. Establishment of main branch offices. All agencies maintain a main office of their registered address. Branch offices at least 1 year of operation until the 30 minimum guards in the third year of operation. That branch offices shall be registered with the CSFC district and regional PADFAO. Security Service Contracts PSA shall render security service to their clients only after a service contract duly notarized shall have been executed between them. The money consideration to be paid by the client to the PSAs. Number of hours of service per guard per day. The guard salary received from the agency. Tenure of security personnel, it shall be coterminous with the service contract between the PSA and the client. Expiration of contract. Grounds of So these are the grounds for termination of the guard services. Expiration of contract, revocation of license to exercise profession, conviction of crime involving moral turpitude, loss of trust and confidence, physically and mentally disability, and any other violation of the pertinent rules and regulation of Republic Act 5487. So, payrolls following payrolls of PSAs and CSFS and GUS should name of security guards arranged alphabetically and numbered consecutively which shall be signed personally by the payees only after the receipt of the amount indicated therein. Separate payrolls for distant detachment. Payroll shall be filed with the main office within 15 days after payday. It shall be accordance to the Stanford informant provided for the law. Excuse me. So key control. It is the management in plant or business organization to prevent unauthorized individuals access to the keys. Once an effective key control has been installed, positive control of all key must be gained and maintained. This can be accomplished only if it is conjunction with a new locking device. So the following can be utilized effectively key control. First is the key cabinet. It has well constructed cabinet will to have to be produced. The cabinet will have to be of sufficient size to hold the original key to every lock-in system. Number two is the key records. Some administrative means must be set up to record code number of locks and whom the keys of a specific lock was issued. Inventories. Periodic amount must have all the duplicates and original keys in the hands of the employee whom have been issued. So audits in addition to periodic inventories, an announced audit should be made of all key control records and procedures by member of the management. Daily report. A regular report must be made to the person responsible for the key control from the personnel department indicating all persons who have left or will be leaving the department of the company. So type of keys. As locks vary, so keys to lock or unlock them. Keys are classified to the following. Change key is a specific key which operates the lock has particular combination of cuts or batting which match tumbler of the tumbler in the locks. Submaster key is the key that could open all the locks within a particular area or grouping in a particular facility. Master key is a special key that capable of opening series of locks. Grandmaster key is a type of key that will open everything system involving two or more master key group. So master keying system. It is a system used in a big installation whereby keys can be open a group of locks. This is possible by the use of interchangeable cylinder cores in the locks, using locks with the same key in a facility not master. Keying is a pass or a skeleton key. A pass is a use to operate expensive lock by moving it in a keyhole until it catches a locking belt and unlock the mechanism. Master keying is when a lock operates on a master key plus an individual or changes. Master key is made possible due to the development of interchangeable cylinder cores in a matter of seconds. So Mason key is the use of a key to open the main entrance of the office. Level of control in the master keying plan. One level change key. All locks separated by change key only of key different or alike or required. Each key operates its own lock. Example house, stores, cars, warehouse. So two-level master key. All levels operated by change. Keys and master keys. Master keys operated all locks generally of one building. Example school and apartment. So three-level grand master key. All operated by change key, master keys, and grand master keys. Grand master keys operated all locks generally use large buildings or facility with several building. Example is office buildings and hospital. So the four-level grand master key, all locks operated by change key, grand master keys, and great grand master keys are used great or large complex system and similar to level 3 levels. So 5-level great grand master key. All locks operated by change key, master key, grand master key, and the great grand master key. Example is big universities, complexes, and large industrial complexes. Pointers for effective lock and key control. Security personnel I should ensure the proper disposition of lock and keys. This could be achieved by considering the following. Records of all key issued and the name of holders should be meticulously made regardless of the size of the establishment. Storage key is important. Duplicate or spare key should be stored in a securely locked cabinet in a secure area. Master key should be issued on an absolute minimum number issued but kept on an individual responsible for lock and keys. Regular checks should be made on employees with the key issued. Issuance of key and lock should be carefully controlled and issuance should be on a real needing process. Periodic rekeying should be considered essential security safeguard just as combination of safes are changed from time to time. Number 7 is a key depository should be provided in a big plant. Supervisor taking keys should be registered in a registry book. So there are also other protective containers. So this is done by placing documents in a secured and usually fireproof container. So number 1 is safe. It is a metallic container. So everyone is familiar with safe. It is a metallic container used for the safekeeping of documents or small items in an office or installation. Safe can be classified as a robbery or burglary resistant depending upon the use and need. Its weight must be at least 750 pounds. It should be anchored and building structure, and its body should not be less 1 inch thick steel. Number 2 is vault. This is a heavily constructed fire and burglar resistant container, usually a part of the building structure, used to keep and protect cash, documents, and negotiable instruments. Vault are bigger than safe but smaller than security file room. So number 3 is file room. It is cubicle in a building construct, a little lighter than a vault but a bigger size to accommodate limited people to work on the records inside. The file room should be 12 feet high and has be watertight doors at the least fireproof for 1 hour. So, Module 3 Lesson 3.2 Security Personnel Qualification, Firearms and Equipment Concept. So, definition and terminologies. Person. This includes not only natural but also jurisdictional person as a single prioritorship such as partnership, corporation, companies, or association duly organized and registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and or the Department Trade of Industry. Security guards, also known as the private security guard or watchman, shall include any person who offers or renders personal service to watch, secure either a resident or a businessman establishment or both or buildings, compounds or areas for hire or compensation as employee thereof, including any employee of the national government or agencies, instrumentalities therefore or government building compounds, premises and the properties other than member of the AAP, BJMP and the PNP. So private detective, it is refers to any person who work for hire, commission, and other than members of AAP, BNP, provincial guards, PNP, or any law enforcement agency of the government. So, license to exercise profession license certificate. So, this document issued by the CPNP or his duly authorized representative recognizing a person to be qualified to perform duties as a security guard or detective. So, there are also qualification of security guards and security officers to the minimum qualification of security guards. So the basic requisite for the security guards, no person shall be licensed as a security guard unless he possesses the following qualification. First is must be Filipino citizen, high school graduate, physically fit and mentally fit, at least 18 years old but not more than 50 years old. He is undergone pre-licensing training course and must not be possess any disqualification. So desirable qualities of a security guard. In addition to the minimum qualification, security guard must also possess the following. So alertness. A good guard must be alert in spotting violation. This can be attained by being watchful, dedicated, and diligence. Judgment sound and good judgment is more the use of a common sense. It is the arriving at wise and timely decision. Confidence. It is the state of being sure, a state of mind free from the doubt or misgiving. This attribute includes faith in oneself and his abilities, which is attained by job knowledge through and proper training plus good supervision instills confidence. The physical fitness. Security work is strenuous and demanding. Physically conditioning is essential. He is to dependable guard. Tactfulness. Ability the guard to deal with others successfully without offending. In short, he can be firm but pleasant. Self-control. It is the ability to take hold of oneself regardless of provoking situation. With self-control, the guard will do his work without being angry and being situation will be hand. Interest, loyalty, responsible, and trustworthy is also important of a reliable guard. So, exemptions from pre-licensing. The following need to undergo pre-licensing training for the security guards. Veterans and retired or honorably discharged military or police personnel possessing all the qualification mentioned in the preceding section. ROTC advanced, basic graduates, or equivalent to AFP, PNP, CAFGU, CHDF. Qualification of private detective. No person shall be licensed. So, this is the qualification of a private detective. No person shall be licensed as a private detective unless he possesses of any following qualification: holder of baccalaureate degree of Bachelor of Laws, or BS Criminology graduate, or graduate of criminal investigation course offered by the then PCINP or the PNP or the NBI, or any police training school or detective training with the authorized recognized training service, advanced reserve office training course or citizen military training or the ROTC or CMT graduate. Qualifications for security officers. No person shall be licensed as security officer unless he has the following qualification. Number 1 is that must be Filipino citizen, holder of a baccalaureate degree, physically and mentally fit, has graduated from a security officer training course, retired personnel from the PNP or AFP, and must not possess any of these qualifications enumerated in Section 2, Rule 2. Qualifications of the following consultant. No person shall be licensed as a security consultant unless addition to the prescribed in Section 5 of this rule possesses of any of the following: a holder of the master degree in either criminology, public administration, MNSA, industrial administration, or law. So must have 10 years experience in the operation and management security business. So there are also other exemptions of any or enlisted man of the AFP or uniform of the PNP honorably discharged, separated, or retired from the service are exempted from the requirements. So let's go to the use of firearms and equipments. So possession of firearms by the PSA. After complying all the requirements, PSA are entitled to possess firearms of any following. So shotguns not higher than 12 gauge, low power rifle or revolver caliber 22, caliber 38 pistol or revolver not exceeding 1 firearms for every 2 security guards in an employ. So minimum number of firearms. So PSA with 100 guards or at least 30 pieces of licensed firearms. However, after operating 6 months, the PSA can procure firearms in proportion to the number of post guards. So the for regular license to operate or the LTO application. Excuse me. So for the regular license to operate application is at least 70 pieces of firearms. Use of firearms for private detective agency shall be optional. So restriction to possess caliber or firearm to the total number of prescribed high-powered firearms shall not exceed 10% of the total number of guards employed. Private security agencies are not allowed to possess high-caliber guns or firearms, such as carbine, caliber 45, centerfire, magnum, caliber 41, and 44. High-caliber firearms except when such private PSA CSF is operating areas. So acquisition of high-powered firearms shall be at expense of the PSA CSF concerned before the firearms are issued. The same should be registered with the PNP and the Fed. So the security personnel who will use such firearms shall be first given an adequate training in the care of the use thereof, which will under the supervision of qualified officer and men of the PNP. So limitation in the carrying of firearms. The issued firearms shall be carried only by the security guards. So during his tour of duty, when in proper uniform within the compound of establishment where he is assigned, and except when he is escorting a big amount of cash or valuables upon prior. So the duty details order of the or DDO. Private security agencies or company security forces detailing security personnel on duty under the circumstances mentioned in the preceding section while escorting big amount of cash valuable outside its jurisdiction or area operation shall issue an appropriate DDO using SAGSD form number 12 to 94. So confiscation of firearms could be confiscated when about to be used commission of crime, actually being used, the commission of crime has just been commission of crime, it is being carried by the security guard, is unlicensed or unauthorized by the law and regulation for the use, and it is confiscated by the order of the court. Used or carried outside without proper authority and the security guard is unlicensed. So there are also disposition of confiscated firearms. The law enforcement officer who is confiscated the firearm shall inform the CPNP through CSG within 24 hours after such confiscation. So the firearm shall be turned over immediately with the nearest PNP station. So it will be turned over there. When the confiscation is by the order of the court, the same shall be turned over to the court concerned. Filing of the application, it shall be filed with the Fed through SAGSD and the CSG district officer for region outside NCR in accordance with the firearms laws and implementing executive order and regulation. In addition of the following shall be submitted. So Dali approved LTO or license to operate, certification of safety vault ownership prescribed by the Chief of Firearms and Explosive Division. So 40,000 surety bond per firearm to be deposited through the PNB, and the firearm certificate of deposit shall be secured pursuant of Section 887 of the Revised Administrative Code. Sworn statement of the manager or operator agency that its security personnel shall be required by the management to undertake following: case of impeding or actual strike, to report the CPNP or nearest police station such as impending strike, to exercise necessary diligence in the collection of safekeeping of firearms to include safety bolts to prevent the use of firearms in the furtherance of the strike, to assume the responsibility in the proper handling of firearms in order to prevent misuse of the same, or that non-member shall be allowed to hold said firearms used in favor of the agency. So the revocation of license to possess firearms, reasons for revocation, failure to submitted, issued firearms for the verification required by the Section 897 of Revised Administrative Code. So, carrying of firearms by security personnel with or without appropriate DDO. When a serial number is duplicate or using the serial number more than one firearms. Carrying of firearms outside the place stated in the permit required by executive order or carrying firearms in a place prohibited under the law. Conviction of the operator or manager of the agency of any crime involving moral turpitude or when the firearm was reported lost. Illegal possession of firearms. No security guard or private detective shall use unlicensed firearms. Stocking of ammunition. It shall be limited and reasonable quantity that suits the need of the agency and the subjected regular inspection. It shall not exceed 50 rounds of ammunition per unit of duly licensed firearms. Individual issue to the security guard shall be limited 25 rounds per security guard. The use of VHF, UHF handled radios, optional part of the agency depending of the prevailing situation provided such as equipment and properly registered accordance with the existing law.